What's going on YouTube? So I'm Antoine Farrar. Y'all know today is our live trading segment. So, well, live analysis. I mean, I'm trading, but this is just going to be a live analysis. Is my screen not sharing? Oh, my screen is sharing. Bet. So I got US 30 pulled up right now. I was actually just going over this with a couple of my community members. But I'm still bullish based off of the market sentiment right now, right? So I know last night, President Trump ended up having a speech where he said that the Iranian war will pretty much end in a couple of weeks, or they're still basically fighting it. I'm not even factoring that all the way into the market. I know it's playing a part, but right now I'm just focusing on like technical analysis, right? So this week, we had a gap down within indices, right? So there was a gap down, and then the market actually created support and brought the market up, producing a bullish pattern. So if you're familiar with this pattern, you know that this is a what? Morning star pattern, right? So a morning star pattern, what? It signifies bullish momentum within the market, right? Or buyers trying to present themselves within the market. So one thing that we did say is that within this pattern, we still need, a confirmation that we are pushing up, which means we needed some form of a pullback. You can see that price got bullish on what day was this? Tuesday. Then we were bullish yesterday, but we were kind of like it wasn't a strong bull move. And then by like post market, the market started selling off all the way into London. And then pre New York, we got like a move up. This area from this wick to this wick, like I call that like a dead zone, you know what I'm saying? But it still factors into that price is actually testing the high out of this area. So if you look at this candle right here, obviously, if you trade, you know that if you break it down on a smaller time frame, that there's candlesticks within here. So we can factor this in being a previous high. And the reason why I don't have my markups, because there's a lot going on. So I wanted to start from like a more simplistic approach. So that way we can see what's going on. So from this wick to this wick, price, you can summarize that price basically had tested the previous high in order to confirm, not to mention within this pattern. So with the Morningstar pattern, we need like 50% of that pullback, or we need price basically, like I said, confirming with the test of either the high or a percentage of this candle. Normally you see it in like a support fashion, like price will come back, create support, but especially how like strong this momentum was, I think this signifies that price is actually testing this high to buy back up, right? So let me go ahead and pull my markups. You can see I got a lot going on. Now, I'm not going to talk about like what I utilize like in my analysis for me to pinpoint whatever the direction the market is going to be. But you can see that I do have like these things called well, I have these things where I annotate the 945 candle. I would say pay attention to that, traders. I think it could be helpful, but I'm not going to go into like the tactics we use in orientation with the. So scaling down, we can see that we have a freaking another Morning Star right here, right? So the one thing that I looked at when I was trying to identify is price trying to buy back up. This is a very common pattern I've seen within indices historically. Like it'll produce like this upward consolidation pattern or this downward consolidation pattern. It'll break out, which I thought we were going to go a little bit higher. It'll come back and test into like the high of it or somewhere within the pattern and then start to buy back up. Now, if we go back out to the daily, which you're going to see a lot going on there, you can see that this lines up where we're testing at today. This lines up with the gap that was made on October 10th when Trump ended up saying that he was going to do 100% tariffs on China. That created this support structure. Well, that created this gap that we needed, which we were using as like a support structure. So To me, price is lining up with what we wanted to see. And to kind of show you what I meant on that, this consolidation pattern, we saw it a little bit with S&P already. That's not a good. So you see S&P produced that like consolidation pattern downward, broke out, tested back into the consolidation pattern, and then started continuing selling off until it found support, which I do think that this is our support structure. I think across the board, all indices are buying, but obviously I'm focusing primarily on US 30. But if US 30 is buying up, then sure enough, like S&P and NASDAQ are sure to follow. Let's see if NASDAQ is already making its move right there, so perfect. It found support. Yeah. Yeah, I really think that this is the buy for the year, traders. I do. Yeah, there's not much to discuss because we already talked about this, to be honest. It's been ugly because beginning of the year, you can expect like a sell-off. That's what we've been seeing historically. So, a lot of us got, hit trying to anticipate what looks like the buy a lot earlier than what price intended. But again, if you watched my market forecast on Tuesday, which I think it dropped yesterday, yeah, if you watched that, I talked about this. I talked about that if you've been following our channel and if you're tuning in right now, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me. But if you've been following our channel, we talked about price pulling back or doing a cool off or coming back to test these areas in order because what we needed was same thing what we're discussing right now is on a higher time frame. We needed price to come back and test the high. So this was the high made from last year that was broken after, we went on that bull run. And as you can see, price ended up coming back to test this area around what? What's important is that this is around Q2. You know what I'm saying? It's not just that, oh, we're looking for the high. This is normally around the time where if the market is going to turn around to get bullish, this is where you start seeing signs of buyers start peeking their head in. So you can see that price actually went into the high, and then for this new month, we pushed down a little bit, which to me makes sense because of how it opened up. It opened right at the close of the bear candle from last month. So I figured that we would like push down a little bit, which that's what's going on today in order to put rally the market back up. So yeah, I'm thinking that we're rallying back up. And I doubt that we'll see like the top by the end of this week, which would be insane if we did. But probably this month, we'll probably be back up at 50K. But yeah, I like what I'm seeing. It's going to be slow. So when we see these opportunities in the market, one thing I like looking at is that within buys, it's normally like a lot slower. So when the market is starting to rally, like it starts to hesitate more so than sells. Like when you see a sell, you see that shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, there's a lot of times for the market to get like stupid bullish and then take off from you, and there's not really an opportunity. But normally you have some form of pullback. Sells tend to be the more aggressive movement in the market where it like gives you little room for like a re-entry. You know what I'm saying? You kind of, especially with indices, you kind of got to be on point with it. But yeah, we're gonna hold this. Just looking at this pattern, we still got to see price break out of these levels. It is non-farm payroll this week, supposedly, right? Hold on, let me look. Oh, there's no. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so non-farm payroll is still out because tomorrow's Good Friday, so banks should either be closing early or closing um in general tomorrow. So where we at? So I was wondering how that was going to play effect in the market, and it looks like non-farm payroll is still going on. So if that factors into the market like the way we were kind of expecting, that should be the trigger that we need that's going to bring the market up and, give us a bull run if price doesn't start getting bullish today, like we need. Or if not, if price gets bullish this entire today, non-farm payroll can be the move that like tries to pull the market back to these levels. So something like this, you know what I'm saying? Say non-farm, say we get up here before tomorrow New York session. Non-farm payroll does one of these numbers and then gets us, you know what I'm saying? In theory, you know what I mean? But to be honest, we're pretty good that when we draw it, to kind of predict like what the market is going to do. It's not spot on, but sometimes it operates like that. So I wouldn't be surprised. Everybody that's seeing this live, like if the market reacts to some degree of that. Dude, I'm trying to. But I don't think there's anything else going on as far as like news. Let me check again for today. So everything right now is just going to be market structure, whatever the market has priced in. So you can see it's taking its sweet ass time to do any form of movement. But like I said, the last um the last confluence that we had was at one. This entire move was a morning star pattern on the daily time frame. And the current move that we see that's going on right now, not to mention that we're testing the high of last year's gap, which was support being made. And then on the hour, we have another mini morning star, which is at the end of a bear trend, might I add you. You know what I'm saying? So unless Trump comes out here and says something crazy, the technicals look like we're saying that we're going up. Let me see if I'm let me see what the RSI is saying too. I like incorporating that now. I don't use it, but so this is where the market got bullish from, and I actually looked at the RSI yesterday or the day before. So we were basically consolidating, even though it definitely didn't feel like that. This move over here was pretty much bringing the market down, but on the RSI, it's consolidation. Broke out of that consolidation. This is where we're at currently. Now, if you know anything about the RSI, just to keep it simple, like we try to do as much as possible. As if it's below 30 or if it's 30 and below, it's oversold. If it's 70 and above, then it's overbought. So currently, since this week we've been oversold, the market is still like pretty low. We should get pushed back into, the high 70s based off of the daily time frame. We're basing this off of the daily time frame. So off the RSI, if we get pushed back into the 70, that's normally where we'll be oversold, which should bring us all the way back up to this area, if not the low that was broken out of here. So that would be like our first, target, and then see how if price actually tries to meet the high of this to create resistance or break through the resistance. I'm still overall bullish, so I haven't changed like my bias on the overall direction. It's just at this point, like how the market reacts based off of like the war, you know what I'm saying? Because obviously that's bringing uncertain views and mixed signals within the market. But like I said, if you're just following the technicals based off of like structure should be bringing us up. And then from there, we'll see how the market, like if it rallies or starts to pull back a little bit. It's going to be slow. But yeah, when I see the market start presenting buys like this, and then it's slow, like I know that it's trying to buy up because it's slow. Like look at that, that's slow. That's crazy though. But still, we're seeing exactly what we wanted to see. So I'm not gonna stay on any longer. Like there's really nothing anymore to discuss based off of like what we've been talking about. And again, we have been already said that this was probably gonna be our bye week, even if we were gonna pull back down. So I'm looking at us to break this high maybe tomorrow, but I don't know if we'll get to 50K. I'm hoping that we get back to 50K. And then from there, we can see if price is gonna start showing like a major pullback or presenting bears back in the market or sellers back in the market. We'll see. But like I said, I think the technicals are pretty clear. Just got to be patient. And the thing about indices is kind of better to be in it than be trying to enter later, even though I think that this was a pretty good position for anybody to enter in. But if you were down here, like, yeah, this is a clean move. You just got to be patient. So yeah, we're seeing it try to breathe life into the market, trying to breathe life into it. So yeah, even with the Hakanashis, if you know how to utilize Hakanashis, the momentum, at least for this 30-minute candle, is showing you that we're pushing up because it's a bull candle. But what's important is like the hour like higher. So as long as this candle remains like green within this hour, the next candle that should follow um, should be a bull candle and slowly start to bring us back up. Think this is what we've been waiting for, especially since this Q2. So, like I said, YouTube, I think the writing is on the wall. I think exactly what we were anticipating is starting to happen. We just got to see how the market is going to react. This is technically our point A. So, if this is our point A, anything that happens in between going to point B, which would be like 50K or whatever the high that was made, like we know anything could happen in between there. So, point A should be solidified, and then just be careful in between, like trying to make profit all the way back up to 50K. Yeah, I like what I'm saying. So yeah, I'll catch you on the next video, which will be weekly review. Yeah, y'all can catch me. That'll obviously be a recording, but we are gonna start implementing, like I said, I think on my last live, we're gonna start implementing more lives on our sessions that we do. So YouTube can take advantage, just like my community is able to take advantage. But hope you have a successful trading day. I hope this week's been amazing. It's definitely been amazing for me. But I'll catch y'all in the next video as always. I'm Antoine Farrar signing off. Peace, YouTube.